Hello and welcome to part 10 of the series on how to create the Twitch UI with ReactJS. In this part we are going to create the Twitch message which we see on the sidebar right here. So we see the join the Twitch community and a sign up button and it's put in a little box. So that's what we are going to create. So let's see. Before we're going to do that, we are going to fix up the warnings that we have in the console. And as we can see, the warnings are in the user component. So we're gonna go in the user component, and then it says image elements must have an alt prop. So we need to provide an alternative for when the user cannot load the image or if the user cannot see the image. So the alternative is profile picture, and in this case we actually should say what type of picture. So in this case it's a bunny, but I think yeah, so it already says redundant alt attributes. Screen readers already announce image tags as image. We don't need to use the words image, photo, or picture. Okay, so I'm going to describe it as what is actually visible on the image. So it's a bunny. So we're just going to put bunny right here. So now the arrow is gone, or the warning. Second one is emoji should be wrapped in a span, have role image, and then have an accessible description with area label or area labeled by. Okay, well, I didn't know that, so that's new for me. Role is image, like so, and then have an accessible description. Area label, amount of people watching. Is it like this? So let's save this and refresh the page. Well, seems like it's fixed. Let's look in our console. Do we have any more? Yes, so we still have one more warning, which we don't see in the console right here, but we see it right here. Each child in the list should have a unique key prop in the sidebar. So let's go to the sidebar. And right here we have the users, which we map to a list actually, or well, some kind of list. And we need to pass a key so we can identify each user. So one thing we can use as a key is the ID of the user, but we don't have a user ID. So normally, let's see where we have our data right here. But normally you'd have something like this. You'd also have a an ID that will be, for example, like 0, or maybe if you work with like a Mongo string ID or something, it's probably looking something like this, but it's a unique identifier for the object. But we don't have that, so we cannot use it. The second way we can give it a key is by using a for each loop. So for let I equals 0, and then you can just say that the key is I, because I is also unique. It's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's never duplicate. But since we are using the map function, we don't have access to the index. So let's see how we are going to tackle it then. So in this case, the username is unique. LCS, Shroud, Jess, Jamie, Fisher, and the others. So we can just use the username as the key. Let's go with key equals u.username. So, and now if we refresh the page, we will see that it won't complain that it doesn't have a key anymore. So that's really nice. And one thing I'm noticing actually is when we type u dot, it already recognizes which fields that it has. So we can just say username. If we type in username, it will give an error because it doesn't recognize it. That's really good. It's from TypeScript, so we get this this part for free. And I don't think that it works right here. No. So the reason why it is not recognizing it is because we give the user a type of any. So what you ideally want to do is we want to create a model for our user. So let's create a new folder in our source folder named models. In our models, we're going to create a user.tsx. And then we're going to say export interface user. And what does a user have? Let's go into our data. Username, image, description, and watchers. Username, type string. Description, string image string and watchers, which is also a string, like so. And what we can do now is we can use this interface. So right here, user is not of type any, it's of type user. So now we imported user model, and we might get a conflict. So we can, to simplify things, because we now have user right here and user right here, we can say import user as user model, and then we can just say user model. So it's just an alias for the name user. But what we can do now is we can access the variables, or well, we can access the variables. So for example, if we type image with 2 e's, it will give an error. So that is why having a model, or an interface in this case, the interface is the model, I mean, is really good, because then we get errors during compile time and not when our site is live and people are trying to access it, because that wouldn't be good. So we're gonna keep it like so. We're gonna close this, and we're going to start with the text right here. So let's see. We open up our sidebar, and here we have the Twitch message section, and we want to give it a span, I think, another span, and then a button. Let's go span, join the Twitch community. We have another span, which will say discover the best live streams anywhere, and then we have a button, and I think we've already created the button. Yeah, so we have already created a button already. We only need to import it. So we've imported it from the button folder. That's good. Now the button expects some parameters. Some parameters like the primary, secondary, tertiary, and key. Oh, label. Label is required. So the label will be signed up. So, and if we save this, boom, nice. Okay. So the button actually already is looking perfect. So that's great. Next we want to let's see. We might want to make divs from this, or paragraphs. So why don't we write this? Because then they will wrap to a new line. It's actually a little bit better than a span, because a span will be displayed on the same line as the other span. So if we keep this as spans, it will just say everything in one line or after each other. If we do DPs, then we will see that we have the Twitch community and the discover the best live streams anywhere on a separate line. We could also use a div, I think, but divs are more like containers, and this is not a container. It's just some content or text in this case. Yeah, so div is also a possibility, but we're gonna leave it at p, since it is a small paragraph. So let's see. Join the Twitch community. Twitch should be purple. So the way that we are going to do this is, I think we're going to create a span for this one, and then we are going to give it a class name of no. We are going to keep it like so, and we're going to give this p a class name, which will be a title. This one will be the description, and here we have the button, and we are going to keep it as it is. But what we can do right now is we are going to edit our sidebar, and then how did we call the class? Message section? Yes, Twitch message section. And then we want to target the title, and then in the title we want to target the span, like so. And then we want to say a color, and then we use the variable which we have created, primary color, like so. If we save this up, we will see that Twitch is being displayed in the primary color, which is really good. Next up, we want to actually create, we want to make the title, the whole title, not only the span, bigger font size. So font size 1 rem. Okay, that looks pretty good, but I don't think that it changed. What if it's 10 rem? Oh no, okay, it did change. To RAM then. Already a lot better. A little bit too big. 1.7, 1.6, and one more 1.5. And then font weight for 500. Yes, okay, looking nice, looking nice. And then let's see, we have our. Is it just me, or does this look darker than this? The button, primary button. It has a different background color, I think. I think we messed up the primary color. It's too dark. Oh, it's the same color. What? Oh, okay. Well, anyways, next up we are going to create this part. So that needs to be a little bit smaller. We can close those two. We can copy this over and we're going to call it description. We don't want to give it a color. And we are going to say font size of 0.8 rem. 0.9. Yes, okay, good. So actually we already almost have it. The only thing we need to do is we need to create a nice little box and give the box a background color. So for the color, we are just going to inspect this page. Take the eye picker or the color picker, click, close the inspector tab, and then we are going to insert our color right about here. Sidebar, which message section, background color, this. Yes, okay, nice. So as you can see, we have the correct color. We only want to add some padding to the left and right. So let's see, padding 0 pixels, 10 pixels. Okay, so that's not what I'm trying to do. Margin, yeah, margin. But we also need padding, but not 0 and 10. We need, let's see, first guess, 25 pixels and 15 pixels. The 25 is a little bit too big, I think. 10 by 15. I have the feeling that this sidebar is a lot bigger than the one we have created. This one is 240, and we have right here 230. Yes, that's the problem. 240. Okay. Okay, good. So let's see. We need a little bit less space at the top and the bottom. But I think the problem is that our paragraphs have a margin by default, or don't they? Yeah. They have a lot of margin. So we want to remove that. So in our sidebar, we want to go right here, and we want to give the title a margin 0 pixels, I think. Yes. And then the description also a margin. We should put it above, margin of 0 pixels. So it doesn't actually matter a lot where you put it in most cases, but just better to put it here because this is really like letter specific. So you go from top to bottom, like this is saying something about the object where it should be placed. Then we have something about how much space it should take. And then we go into really specific things like the background color, but that won't impact other items. Then the margin, sorry, it should be under there, like so. And then the font size, for example, that is even more specific, and font weight. And under here we get the letter spacing and that kind of stuff. So that's why it's better to put it on top, so it's more like it's more readable. And well, if you keep everything the same, it's nice. So right here we have we want to create a little bit more line height between in the description. So right here, the description, we are going to give it a line height of. It's way too much. No, this. Wait, does it actually? It works. Okay, 1.3. Yes, and then we want to give a little bit margin to the description. So at the top you see, and the bottom, from the button and the title. So we actually do want a top and a bottom margin of 5 pixels. Okay, we might want to make that 8 pixels. Yes. And then what we want to do is we want to create a lot more padding on the message section. So this should be 25 maybe. Yeah. So this looks a lot better. Then we want to give it a border radius of 25 pixels. And that's too round. 15 looks better, but I think we should go with 8 pixels. We don't have any no, we don't have any variables for it yet. So 8 pixels. What do we have for the button actually? Well, 8 pixels looks good actually. The button we have 3 pixels. Oh no, that's way too little for this one. So 8 pixels looks good, and then we want to have some space between the streamers and the text section. So we're going to give it a margin top. So let's see, we have the margin right here, and then we override the margin. So this is where it matters. For example, we give it a margin top of 5 pixels. So I'm just going to make it bigger for demonstration purposes. Now it's 50 pixels, you can see it. But if we put this on top, you can see that it's not 50 pixels anymore. And why is that? Well, it gets overridden by this one, because this comes after. No, we don't want that, because this comes after this one. So the one that is at the bottom is the one which will be picked. So if we put a margin top of 100 pixels, that's all we picked. So this is really a clear example of why the order matters, but yeah, well, in most cases it doesn't matter that much. So we have the margin top of 50 pixels. We do want to change that to 20, 10, 10. Yes, I think that looks fine. Looks fine by me. There is still one thing we can do, and it is adding a little bit of box shadow around it. So to the message section right here, we're going to add a box shadow, and I actually don't have an idea how that works, so I'm just going to look it up real quickly. So I found this really helpful site, CSS Medic, and here we can calculate the box shadow, and we can really easily see what we want to create. So I'm going to keep this one at 0.9, and then maybe we want to set it off a little bit more to the bottom. So let's say 1 pixel to the bottom. Yes, like so. And I think we can use this. I think this looks kind of like that. So if you press copy, I hope this works, because I got a Flash player. No, it doesn't work. Okay, nice. Because I got a Flash player error. We can just copy this over, like so, and we can close this. Thank you for helping, and then we can save this, and hopefully, yes, nice. Look at that. We get a nice little box shadow. Okay, so we have created the sidebar. We have finished the sidebar even. So I want to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. We have created something that looks really good. So I hope I see you again in the next episode. Subscribe, leave a like down below, comment, and I'll see you later. Bye!